Hi guys, it's Petri. I am a 28-year-old Finn from Skåne, the most southern part of Sweden. And I thought I would make a Q&A because Mark did it, so why not? And by the way, if you see me looking away from the camera, it's because I'm looking at my notes. So I wouldn't be able to do this without them, so yeah. What do you think about the winner and the other finalists? So I think Emma has this amazing Leanne Rimes type of voice. I knew she would go so far. Her harmonies are always on point and there's always so much emotion in her singing. Maeve is this pop diva. I mean, she always has so much confidence in everything she does. It really shines through. Mocha is to me the most powerful singer this season, the most versatile and the most dynamic as well. Angelina, for being so young, she sounds so experienced. I mean, she has done musicals and I can really tell that she has a lot of experience. And she's also from a musical family because I actually watched some of the videos that she shared. A little fun fact, in the audition phase before she sent in her audition, I actually thought she would be in the top 2 with Sean because I watched a live video that she shared. You know, it never works out the way that I imagine it in the beginning because so much happens in several months. It's bound to be different. Okay, before I move on to the other questions, I do want to address some of the criticisms that the show has received. So as far as Maeve goes, I actually never intended for that drama to happen. If you just look at my votes, I think I stayed pretty consistent in every round that I thought she used autotune. The reason I kind of backtracked in the final is because the other judges obviously kept voting her in. So at that point I kind of have to concede because otherwise I would just be overly stubborn, which I don't consider a good quality for a judge. Because in a panel you are meant to try to reach compromises. And that was me compromising. And also it wasn't a problem in her final entry itself. So I didn't feel the need to bring it up there because otherwise it would maybe seem like I voted her 3rd place because of the autotune, and that was not the case. It was because of her vocals. I personally think that Emma and Mocha had more impressive vocals throughout the show. Unfortunately, I am the type of person to think of arguments after the fact, after the deliberations, which is of course extremely helpful. I don't do very well in live deliberations, unfortunately. There were several arguments that I thought of after the deliberation that I could have used. We actually argued both in the judges chat and the mentor chat after the show. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to show those discussions, so I'm going to show a couple of my key responses instead. Okay, so I'm gonna admit, as far as the drama goes, sometimes I edit things to seem more dramatic than they actually are, because I'm thinking that the drama is going to happen anyway. That's what happens when you have strong singers and strong opinions on the panel. And it was going to happen anyway due to the overproduction arguments and the judges disagreeing about them. So then I'm thinking that if it's gonna happen anyway, then I might as well show it in an entertaining way. If you get what I mean. Specifically the country and blues round. That was the round that I didn't judge in, and that was also the round that there wasn't an outro, so I had to kind of make an outro. I edited in that bit to make it seem like the obvious best performance would be eliminated. I mean, because I gave Maeve a 10 in that round, so I thought she was pretty obvious. But apparently not. In my mind, I made it seem like the obvious best performance would be eliminated to get that suspense into the result. And I understand it wasn't received very well. But at the same time, I don't think we are morally wrong for doing it that way when the style of the show is shown to everyone beforehand. In both the trailer and the show itself. You were told that you were going to get honest feedback, and I kind of feel like sometimes you need to take the good with the bad. This show would literally not exist if it was only about highlighting good singers, which I understand is the best part of it, and I agree with that. But this isn't a charity. I mean, the judges and the editor needs to have fun as well. If people didn't like the drama, then reality shows wouldn't be as popular as they are, honestly. I'm not into feeding egos for the sake of it. I mean, I still do that a lot, obviously, but it's coming from a genuine place and not like... There is a big difference between feeding egos because you are supposed to do it and doing it because it's coming from a genuine place. if you understand what I mean. And people have been thanking us even when they have received worse feedback. So it's kind of individual how good you take it. There is a lot of things that people want this show to be or to have, but unless there's money in it, then it's not going to be everything you want, because the people involved need to do what is fun to them. I mean, yes, the judges are responsible for what we say, but there is also some responsibility on the contestants to have the emotional maturity to be able to handle criticism. If we always cater to everyone's sensibilities, then I think the show would be dull and fake. That doesn't mean I defend everything the judges have said. I mean, I can't. I think some things got out of hand a bit, but I also think it's not my responsibility what the others say. I can only defend what I say and do. But I can promise you one thing. Nothing was said or done for the sake of drama. The drama was a result. It was not the intention. And I think intentions do matter. That is the difference between Next Top Singer and America's Next Top Model, because on America's Next Top Model, they do things for the sake of drama. I mean, they take away the contestants' food, so they argue more and stuff. But we never make this show with the intent of creating drama. The drama kinda creates itself. So that's a big difference. So, and I also received criticism that I'm looking for a unique voice and that I shouldn't let that affect my judging, because the show is called Next Top Singer and not Next Top Voice. But the thing is, it's called Next Top Singer. So preferably that means you would not be like any previous singer. You would be like the next thing and stand out. So to me, a unique voice matters. Of course, that is just one factor. It's not the only factor. So I think that pretty much covers the criticism. If I missed anything, then I think that's up to the other judges to defend, because I believe I have answered to the part that I played in this. So how has your experience been being part of the show? It's been a lot of work. It's really difficult to juggle with my new job. This kind of started to feel like a second job, so it was really tough actually. But I love watching the results when it's done. And I love the community. It's always worth it in the end. How has it been working together with the other judges? Any issues, and what do you think about them? So I love them. I love Andrea, I love Mark, and I love the guest judges. I'm always grateful for the time and efforts and money they put into the show. I will always respect them for all of the years we have worked together on the show. I mean, we started back in 2017, I think, was when they got on the show. So yeah. That said, I am going to criticize them a bit. I honestly feel like no matter how good my arguments are, once they are set on someone, I can never change their minds, especially Mark. And that can be quite frustrating, actually. And of course, the response to that would be that I didn't have good arguments, and that's fine. I mean, I'm just talking about my feelings here, okay? Feelings are not facts. I'm not saying I definitely had good arguments. I just feel like I had good arguments, and I'm never able to convince them. I don't know if Mark has ever conceded a point. I also feel like a lot of the reasons given in the final were abstract, whereas mine tried to reach some form of objectivity. I mean, the number of genres is objective. The highest belting register is objective. The time length of sustain is objective. I guess I'm still kinda salty because honestly this was one of the few times that I'm ever outvoted on the show. But that said, I do love Emma as the winner, like I said. But like you all have seen, I voted differently than the other judges this season, so that's where the salt is coming from. There were also a couple of arguments behind the scenes this season that were not really fun to me. I hope to be able to discuss in a way that doesn't attack the person. But I guess that's bound to happen when you have 2 stubborn judges on the panel. Or 3. Or 3 stubborn judges, actually. All of us need to remember that this isn't the end of the world at the end of the day. Either way. I also feel like every time I do a Q&A, I kind of crap on the judges, so it remains to see if I even have a panel next season. No, but that said, I also do admire them for all of their insights. Sometimes they teach me things that I didn't know or didn't think of, so it's always valuable to get as many perspectives into a show as possible. Next question. What do you think about the other contestants? Anyone specific you want to mention? Okay, I do have two I want to mention in particular. I do want to mention Sigrid and Eden, because I would love to hear more of them. I think they were both out of the show way too early. Favorite theme and episode and why? I'm gonna say the country and blues round actually, because they had the most standout entries to me. Like Emma, this was, I think, the first time that she showed actual winner quality. And Angelina and Mocha did the Carrie Underwood entries, and I'm such a huge fan of Carrie Underwood, so yeah. Those were very enjoyable to listen to. And Maeve had this super unique performance where she showed all of her range. So yeah, favorite round definitely, even though I didn't judge on it. Least favorite theme and episode and why? I'm gonna say the casting round actually, because it was way too big. It took months to finish it, so I think we might need to do it differently next season. But it also seems like such a waste to not show everything when people have gone through the trouble of recording it. But yes, sometimes you have to make those hard decisions as an editor. So it might have been the last season where you see such a casting round. Tips to future contestants. I think the safest bet in this competition as far as versatility and artistry goes is to do 50-50 like Hooney did. I mean, he did 3 K-pop songs and 3 that were not. So he showed both who he is as an artist, which is obviously a K-pop artist, but he also showed 3 that were not, so he got to show that versatility as well. Because this season I think the choice was between versatility and artistry. I don't think there was anyone that showed much of both. I think it was more a either or thing this season. Anything you want to add? Final question. So I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that next season we're going to try something we have never done before. So you can look forward to that. I mean, it's season 10, so obviously it has to be extra special. And I can promise you it's going to be. The bad news is that it's unfortunately going to be the final season. I feel like the cons are starting to outweigh the pros a bit. Because it's so much time, so much work every season, and it's taking up a big part of my life, so I'm kind of feeling that as hard as it is to let go of something I have done for 8 years, it's time to move on. I'm looking to do other type of projects and also get some just more free time. So I'm hoping the next season is going to be the best season yet. I really want to finish this off in the best possible way. Thank you to everyone who's been with us all of these years, or even if you were just here a little while. It's been overall an amazing time. Thank you for watching this. See you next year.